Where's the call? Where is the call? Welcome back, Devils fans, and in this video I'm going to rant a little bit about the blatant non-tripping call on the Canucks late in the game the other night. And I went back and watched it again, and it is just completely ridiculous. For those of you that may not have seen, the Devils were trailing late in the third period by a score of 5-4. A power play just had begun, giving the Devils the 5-on-4 advantage. And 10 seconds into the power play, Luke is bringing the puck up the ice. JT Miller blatantly trips him, takes his legs out from underneath him, and no call. No call is made. The arena goes crazy. Even the announcers on television talk about it. And so let's just watch in real time the blatant trip by Miller on Luke Hughes that was not called, and the crowd's subsequent reaction. And here we go.
It's too bad they're off the draw. The bank off the skate.
Now it's another knockdown, but no penalty coming after Luke Hughes was upended. My goodness. Got spun all the way around.
Yeah, I'm not sure the reasoning. I thought he was tripped, but just play on if you're New Jersey.
A minute 28 left on the power play. Dawson Mercer to the outside for Tyler Toffoli. Cuts it inside. Toffoli still got it. Comes to the slot. It's sitting there. Chance to clear, and there it goes. Elias Pettersson sends it down.
Yeah, sometimes when you hear the crowd literally giving it to the referees, but you can't worry about that if you're the Devils players. Go play, and you still got plenty of time to get one here.
Here comes.
After looking at this tons of times, I don't see any world where this is not an easy penalty call for anyone remotely in the building. You don't have to be the closest official to the action to see this. You could have seen this from across the ice. Anyone could have called it. Completely blatant, and quite frankly, they didn't want to give the Devils a 5-on-3 advantage to tie the game, and then potentially pulling the goalie to give them a 6-on-3 advantage for nearly 2 full minutes. And that is what the New Jersey Devils were robbed of with this horrific non-call by the officiating crew. And I respect Kenny Danico when they run the replay for his reaction to it again. And let's look at Dano when they run it back after the next stoppage and play. Here's Dano talking about it again.
Forward advantage here.
Well, let's look. Well, there's no doubt.
100%.
Yeah, and, you know, initially I'm thinking, well, maybe they're going to call Luke Hughes for, you know, diving, but man, that was absolutely not. His feet were taken right from under him. He was whacked. I have no idea. They're staring right at it.
Yeah.
But I had to look at the replay, and I guess they just didn't want the Canucks to go down too. But that's a penalty. New Jersey.
Devils will take their timeout. This timeout.
Definitely one of the most obvious and worst non-penalty calls I've ever seen. And quite frankly, I feel like this is becoming more and more commonplace in the league, and I'm going to have to dedicate a series to this. Where's the call is going to be a new series, and I might even start incorporating other teams on behalf of NHL fans around the world. I might just have to do a couple of these a week to point out the glaring inefficiencies in some of these officiating crews, because this is complete nonsense. And this game, you know, we easily could have got a point or two with being given the 5-on-3 we should have had. And so this could come back to haunt us, like many other things throughout the year. But this is one that really was taken away by the officiating crew. Obviously, if we weren't on a power play, I believe they're calling that 100 out of 100 times. But here's my real issue, is that circumstances dictate when they're going to pull the whistle out or not. And so if it was even strength and that play had occurred, I'm positive 100 out of 100 times, arms going up, penalties being called, Miller's going to the box. But because the Devils were already on a power play, they did not want to give us the 2-man advantage. And that is complete bullshit. You cannot decide to keep the whistle in the pocket based on the circumstances of the game. Unfortunately, it was a blatant trip. And yes, they were shorthanded. They should have been shorthanded another man. And so when the officials start taking circumstances of the game into their decision whether or not to call a penalty, you're terrible at your job. Quite frankly, you are horrible at your job. The circumstances of the game should not matter for a penalty like that. Now, as a caveat to that, I do agree with certain games that are maybe a little chippier, a little more rough stuff going on. I agree with putting the whistle away and letting the boys play, as they say. You know, maybe let some roughings go, maybe a little cross-check, a little stick work, stuff like that. I'm okay with pocketing the whistle. I'm 100% all about that. Let them play. But when it's a completely, you know, that's an egregious penalty. In open ice while Luke's flying up to trip him, those you must call regardless of the circumstances. And I'm here to demand, I would like to see the league, either an apology from the league or an explanation as to why that was not a penalty, because we see clear as day in all the angles, Miller gets his stick in there, Luke gets tripped up. There's no world, there's no realm, there's no anything you're going to tell me that is not a penalty. So I would like either an apology from the league or an explanation as to why that's not a penalty, because this is completely absurd. The Devils were robbed of an additional man advantage, and we need answers. For the league to just hide and never address these sort of things is completely bush league. This is a professional league, and your officiating crews are wildly inefficient at times. This is one of those times, and now it's time to face the fire. Tell us that they messed up and apologize, which doesn't do anything to help us, but at least you're owning your mistake, or give us some fancy explanation as to why it's not a penalty. But now I have made it my mission, and I will likely include other teams on behalf of hockey fans globally, when these horrible officiating snafus occur, I'm going to point them out, and I'm going to keep making videos about it. Here's the latest garbage non-call in an NHL game, because it's terrible and there's no accountability. These crews should be fined, suspended, something. The fact that you can be that bad at your job when you have an important job. I don't know many other industries or sectors where you can be that bad at a job with no accountability. If you're a surgeon and you mess up someone's surgery, something's going to happen. You're either going to be suspended, you're going to get sued, something. This is complete malpractice, and something's got to give. So I am calling out the National Hockey League on behalf of the New Jersey Devils and Devils fans. Apologize for a blatant blown non-call, or give us some BS reason why it wasn't a penalty. But completely unacceptable. I got really pissed off watching this after the fact, and we need answers. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments, and tag the league, tag whoever. I'm not going away, so we're gonna start holding these guys accountable. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.